Welcome back to Aries Dance and Motivation. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and supporting Aries Dance and Motivation's channel. I thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, share, and like. Okay? All right. So, as I just said in my previous video about why I love music, I was telling you that for you to stay tuned, because I'm going to be teaching you some different tips and some things that are very important to me about dance. So to start off, I'm going to be sharing with you a few elements of dance that is very important, because this is going to be the foundation of exactly kind of what I was saying in my previous video. So I'm just going to be giving you just 5 elements. Of course there's more, but these are the most this is the foundation. I mean, I would say this is pretty much it right here, but of course there's more. But I'm just going to be sharing the 5 elements with you of dance, and just so you can understand exactly what you should do when this goes to, especially when you're thinking about like a dance choreography, or when you're thinking about dance choreography, like thinking about your movements, or when you think about or even you can think about even just music. You can think about music as well if you think about this, thinking about what do you hear within that music? Like how is I should say, how is the energy? How is the energy within that song? What is the harmony? What does it go? What is it? How is it fluctuating? So, but this is actually just really referring to dance movements, but there's all different kind of ways to interpret it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I am just talking about dance movements. But here we go. So, number 1 is body. Okay. So, your body is the foundation of dance. It's the foundation of your movements. So in other words, when creating a dance choreography, it's important to focus on the technique to ensure that each body movement is placed correctly to express the song's message. So when I was talking about that in my previous video, I was talking about, why I love dance, about expressing myself, and how I'm very passionate about it, how I'm able to express myself through the song. I hear every beat and all of that. So when you first try to think of a dance choreography, it's important to just think about your body movements, and how do you want your body to move? What kind of moves are you trying to create within that dance? Also think about what type of music you're gonna be dancing to, and also everybody has their own dance style. Okay, that's very important to point out. Everybody has their own dance style, so you can't ever dance like someone. Maybe you can do some kind of moves like someone, but everybody is so different when it comes to their own dance style. That's why if somebody does a dance choreography, it's going to look different than others, because each person has their own dance style. So when I talk about movements, I'm talking about how you have to think about, how does your body move? How does your body respond to you moving, I don't know, to the left and then turn around, and then if you jump or you skip or whatever? Because sometimes certain moves that you don't normally do, it can, if you don't practice them well enough, then it's not gonna look too good in your choreography, because you're not used to it. And so it's very important to try to at least practice certain moves that you're not used to, because you can incorporate different things in your choreography. But your dance style, so it's very important to understand how your body moves, because like I said, that is the foundation. So that way you can figure out what techniques are you going to use to properly execute that particular dance movement. Or just that one move, how are you going to properly execute that. So you have to make sure that you figure that out, because sometimes you may not realize that there's a move that you're trying to do, but you might not just be able to do that because of how your body's not used to moving like that. And if your body's not used to moving a certain way, then that means that you either need to incorporate a different move in there, and don't try to do a different move, or just practice different movements to get your body loose, to get yourself used to learning different movements. I know for myself, some movements I'd be like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. Why? Because that's not my dance style. Although I do try to, I'm constantly trying to learn new dance moves, and incorporate new things in my dance. But it's okay it's okay, like, if you don't want to do all these different kind of dance moves, because honestly, there's certain dance moves that are just not for you. Everybody has their own style, so you don't have to try to do as a million dance moves or a million different dance styles, learn different rhythms, like whatever is feel comfortable to you, because that's the most important. Because when you dance, you want your body to be able to flow, you want everything to run smoothly. Like I said, you want to be able to properly execute your moves, and you cannot do that if you're just uncomfortable. So you don't have to feel like you're obligated to do moves that you're not going to be comfortable with. Simple as that. So yeah. So just keep that in mind. Because remember, it's all about expressing yourself in the best way possible. You want everyone to understand it, and sometimes people won't understand what you're doing. Let me just say that. Like I said about, you want your movements to be placed correctly to express the song's message. Most of the time, if you're passionate about the song and you're comfortable with what you're doing, everything's just gonna be beautiful. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. Now, number 2 is action. So this kind of connects to body. When you think about action in dance, you think about the physical dynamics of the dance. By using force, speed, and travel that to progress into the action. So let me kind of explain exactly what I'm talking about. So, like I said, when you're thinking about a dance choreography or thinking about a dance, so you want everything in your choreography to kind of connect together. So let me see what example I can use. If you are running, if you're using like a running gesture, or you're not really running, like you're actually doing like a running gesture, like you're acting like you're about to run, but then you don't. And in my videos coming up soon, I'm going to be actually explaining. You'll actually get to see me, and I'll be actually explaining what I'm talking about. But I just want to give you a little bit of background information on, what I'm going to be talking about. But anyway, so when I talk about force and speed and travel, I'm just talking about make sure everything connects together. So if you're doing a move that is really fast, and then you got one that's really slow, then you got one that's really that's like medium in between, and then you got one where you're just moving extremely slow. So when it's talking about force, speed, and travel, you want all that to connect together. So when you're thinking about choreography, you think about how can I make all that connect together. And hey, you might have to think about it for a little while, but that's fine. Because you can tell if you're doing dance choreography, you're just dancing and it just feels off. You're like, what the heck am I doing? That's a time to kind of reevaluate and be like, okay, so how can I just make this connect together? Because honestly, if you don't feel right about it, you probably should not even, consider making that, your movements. You got to think about something else. So basically with action, it talks about, like I said, the physical dynamics of dance. But basically, just to break it down, when I talk about action, when you're using force, speed, and travel, just think about how all three of those can connect together. You don't want you're going really fast, and then all of a sudden you just go really slow without making it transition smoothly. That's the whole purpose of it. You can be running in a dance choreography, like you can be running, then all of a sudden you just start you just start breakdancing. But it's really about how did you do that. That's what matters. How did you do that? How did you do that? What did you do that can make that dance move really smooth, and those dance moves smoothly, and how did you make those connect? So just think about that when you talk about action. How can you make the different transitions within that music? How can you make those things connect? So just think about that when you're talking about doing dance choreography. So the next thing is going to be space. So when you talk about space in dance, it's really important to think about that. Also connects to action as well, because you want everything to connect together. So when you think about space, so for example, if you're trying to do a dance move that requires you to have your legs kind of spread out a little bit, so that way you can transition and like maybe move your feet to the left or to the right. Now, you can't do that if you don't have the right amount of space. You can't do that. You have to. And when I talk about force, like I said, when I talk about force and speed and travel, when I talk about action, yeah. So if you don't get that right, then you're not even gonna have enough space to begin with. Have you ever seen someone dance, or maybe you've done this yourself, where you are going so fast with your dance movements, or you're going too slow, where maybe you trip over yourself because you didn't give yourself enough space to properly execute that move. And so let me just give you a little background information on the space. So space illustrates the importance of bringing the dance to life. Okay, it's about the formation, body shape, and distance. Okay, so that's what I just said. Distance, body shape, formation, and distance. If you don't have enough distance in between your dance movements, then how are you going to transition properly? The answer is you're not. So like if a woman's hands are spread apart and her head is leaning back, so like a woman or a guy, whoever. And so if you can think about that, if the woman or a guy's hands is spread apart from each other, they're positioned differently, and then her head is leaning back for a particular choreography. So, and then maybe she's trying to, and she has her leg up in like in a certain position, just one leg up. How, if she doesn't have the right space, or he or she does not have the right space, like how are you going to move? Like you might hurt yourself. You might hurt yourself, or you might it's just not going to turn out good. So remember, make sure you have the right amount of space. And as a result, it will create a different formation and create a unique dance position. So, because it's really all about being spread out. You got to make sure that you have enough space so that way you are, doing the right thing. And so just keep that in mind. Number 4 is time. So when you think about time and dance, what do you think about? Now, timing is come on. Timing is everything, okay? Timing is everything. If you don't remember anything else, which you can play it back, okay, as many times as you need to, but if you don't remember anything else, remember that timing is the most important part of dance. Most important part. Most important. Although everything connects together, but you have to but if once you get all that together, now it's time to execute it by timing. That means that's time for you, once you get all the moves down, it's time for you to turn on the music, and it's time for you to put everything together. Put it all together. Timing is when the whole dance choreography should come together. That means when that beat drops, when a certain beat drops, a certain tempo, and it fluctuates, you got to know what moves to transition into. You got to know what move to do on that beat. You have to know all of that. You have to know all of that to make the perfect choreography. So like I said, timing is one of the most important elements of dance. It makes the dance movement more precise. Timing is made up of music beats. Counting the beat, for instance. Some music patterns may consist of an 8 count or 4 count, which means that how many times the beat is expected to repeat. Okay, not to mention timing always focuses on the musical instruments in between the music, such as the melody and harmony. Therefore, to ensure that your dance movements connect beautifully with the song of your choice, it's important to listen to the song several times to understand what the dance moves match, to make sure that the dance moves match with the song. Listening to the lyrics can also help dancers determine the perfect time for each dance movement to give everybody in the audience the wow factor. Okay, so I know that was a lot. You're like, huh? Okay, anyway, so the most important things that you need to keep in mind is when you think about timing when it comes to dance, is that, like I said, the beat, the music patterns. First of all, listen to the song and find out, what do you hear, okay? That's what I recommend. When you doing a dance choreography, just listen to the song several times to get a feel of what do you hear and how is your body going to respond to the music. What type of tempo does the song have? Is it is it hard? Does it have a hardcore beat? Is the music kind of like soft? Does it have, what kind of instruments does it have in between that can, allow you to transition to different movements? So there's a lot of different things to consider when you're talking about timing, because, you can learn a dance choreography, but then when you put the music to it, it's just like, nah, it's just not connecting. So you want to hit every beat, all the melodies, and also it just depends on what parts of the song you're trying to dance to. That's an important factor too. What parts of the song are you even trying to dance to? So you have to mostly try to figure that out as well. And last but not least, now this is very important too. Okay, all of them are important. Okay, all of them. You can be like, Ari, you keep on saying, this is important. That okay, all of them are important. Let me just say that. All of them are important. The last one is going to be energy. Okay. Energy, you should, this is very self-explanatory. Energy, if you don't have energy, what do you have? You have to smile. You have to make sure that because after you have done all the moves, your energy is what connects people to you. That's how people are going to be like fascinated with your choreography. If you're smiling throughout the choreography, or if you're fluctuating, maybe you smiling at one point and then next point you're acting like you're sad. You're going with every part of the song. every part of the song. You're giving it all you got, and people are definitely going to be able to tell. So I hope, and most importantly, remember that the arm movements might be free flowing with gentle or loose arm gestures. Your energy is also about using, like I just said, facial expressions to express the meaning of the song. So again, I hope that this helped you. I hope this helped you out. I'm so excited for the next videos that are to come. I'm going to be teaching you a lot of different things that are very important to me, and I hope that this helped you in some way. And make sure you play this back if you need to always remember the 5 most important elements of dance. I hope that you have a blessed day. Until next time, bye.